Coming up tonight, local NGOs thankful for government assistance allotted in the national budget. The National Tripartite Committee is headed to Geneva for a labor conference. After taking a hiatus, the Bahamas bridal show returns, and the National Youth Choir performs at Carnegie Hall. Welcome to our News Weekend Edition. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Megan Shepard. Two local non-governmental organizations are reacting to the Prime Minister's announcement that they will receive a 10% increase in this budget cycle. Berthany McDermott tells us they're overjoyed to be able to touch more lives.
If I could have run, I would have run. If I could have skipped, I would have skipped. If I could have holler, I would holler.
That was singing Bishop Lawrence Roll's reaction to the news that the Davis administration in this new budget not only added his feeding program to the list of NGOs receiving governmental assistance, but increased the figure by 10%. But he's not the only one. Great Commission Ministries was also added to the list. Senior Pastor Bishop Walter Hanschel calling it one of the best budget communications.
We are excited about the fact that they are increasing all NGOs across the board by 10%, and the government has also pledged to support Great Commission Ministries with some funds to help us to continue to do what we've been doing for 35 years.
During his communication, Prime Minister Philip Davis commended both feeding programs that operated throughout the COVID-19 pandemic without this assistance. Both men say the increase in funds will make way for them to assist more of those in need. But Bishop Roll says it wasn't easy, especially during the lockdowns. He says during the lockdowns, his ministry fed more than 500 people daily.
It was so hard through here. The young men them from the street when the country shut down, knocking on this place for food. We could not find onion. I sent a brother, I said, go see if we could find some onion, all the shop closed down. No one through this corner you could get an onion from. But I kept on feeding.
He added the funding is timely, especially considering the rising price of food.
One sweet pepper to cost my pot to get taste. Because those big pot, you need the sweet pepper, you need the celery, you need the thyme. One sweet pepper is over $5. I say, Jesus.
Meanwhile, Bishop Hanschel said under the former administration, he felt his ministry was overlooked. He chalked it up to politics.
That was no mistake. I believe that was intentional. It's just somebody being spiteful and vindictive. And it's time that we ought not allow politics to cloud and cause people to cloud the issues, and cause the Bahamians to suffer.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
National Tripartite Committee Chairperson Sharon Martin says that apprenticeships are a significant focus for the organization, mandated to facilitate and ensure effective labor consultations between representatives of the government, employers, and workers. She says members of the committee will attend the 110th session of the International Labor Conference, where they will continue to widen their knowledge base on all labor-related matters.
We will take a delegation to Geneva to begin a lot of the consultations, a lot of the policy reviews that for the entire world, but in particular because the Bahamas is a member state of the International Labor Community, the ILO, International Labor Organization.
Martin says that this conference is timely given the recent revelations by Prime Minister Davis, which affect the public and private workforce.
The budget speech would have spoken to apprenticeships, and so it's good to know that we're able to go and get further guidance, further input, and further knowledge.
While the immediate effects of COVID-19 on the body are fairly easy to detect, doctors around the world are still studying what is being described as long COVID syndrome. Here at home, Chief Medical Officer at Doctors Hospital, Dr. Sheena Antonio Colley, says they are also currently involved in a study. So far, the most prevalent findings surround mental health and rheumatology.
And that can span from chronic fatigue syndrome-like symptoms all the way to rheumatological manifestations as well too. And definitely the mental health issues has been very outstanding. We have a team of clinical psychologists and counselors, and we have been following and tracking patients over time with this, and hopefully at some point we will be able to produce that data as well too.
Dr. Antonio Cawley says that if you suspect that you are suffering from long COVID syndrome, speak with a medical professional.
Based on maybe some psychological manifestations, whether it's chronic fatigue, depression, anxiety, or rheumatological symptoms like pain or chronic pain, etc. I think you should definitely seek medical attention, seek your doctor. We have our physicians here in our primary care center are keenly aware of these initiatives, and they are looking out for patients also too with long haul syndrome.
Now, the hospital is also partnering with the Ministry of Health and Wellness and Sandilands Rehabilitation Center in a study on the same.
And I think it's a great initiative, and I think once we get the information and the data, we'd be able to see some very interesting findings.
After a 2-year hiatus, the Bahamas Bridal Show is returning for its 32nd production this Sunday at Bahamas Grand Hyatt. Coordinator Makiva Wallace says the event is way more than just a spectacular show put on for soon-to-be newlyweds.
It is a social event. It's not just for brides and grooms, but it's for anyone that's looking for an outing and want to get new information about where you can go to the latest day spa, who's the hottest photographer, where you can get decorations for a certain event, because decor is not only needed for weddings. You have parties, seminars, so and then we have your beverage companies. So like I said, it's not just about persons who are getting married. It's an event for everyone to get information.
So if you're interested in weddings, Wallace says the show begins at 2 p.m. The bridal industry suffered greatly during the pandemic due to a number of restrictions.
In some cases, we're still restricted, and we can understand that, but it's been really difficult because the industry itself, I think, may have lost the most money out of all of the industries in the Bahamas, because our industry is very large. You're talking about the flowers, limousines, caterers, clothing, photographers, videographers, makeup artists, and the list goes on. So our industry is very large. We've really struggled. We have petitioned the previous government for assistance, but to no avail. So we are asking the general public to please come out on Sunday and support us, because the local businesses really need help.
Still to come on our news, the Reach Out Youth Organization will hold its first Boys to Men Youth Conference in West Grand, Bahama. The National Youth Choir performs at Carnegie Hall. That's coming up when our news returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Shamik.
Teens will have the opportunity to learn new tech skills this summer at a web development summer camp for high schoolers. Managing Director at Cloud 10, Sydney Romer, explains what's on the agenda.
The program is a web development summer program, and the goal of this program is really to try and increase the knowledge and the presence of technology through our youth. We're really trying to show them that there are different opportunities in terms of how you can become an entrepreneur through the use of technology.
The program is hosted by Cloud 10, DDPR, and Converge, and will be held virtually on Mondays and Wednesdays in June and July.
So right now we are offering a special to all of the parents that are watching this interview. If they were to register their child and use the coupon code CYBER, that's CYBER, they would get free registration and they would only have to pay $28 a month for the hosting platform. We will also be giving out a laptop at the end to one lucky student, and we're very excited to host this program to give back to these kids.
Reach Out Youth Organization will be taking its efforts to West Grand, Bahama this May 30th for the first Boys to Men Conference at West End Primary School. Founder Dudley Sade says it's been a long-time dream of his to make an impact in the Western District.
A lot of times they've been influenced by negative, but what we're going to do at that conference is have different speakers just to let them know that you are put on this earth for a purpose. So I'm very excited to bring the conference in the West End. This will be our first time doing Boys to Girls Conference together, but I think it's going to be a golden opportunity for the West End, for the students in the West End area.
Sade says a lot of programs and initiatives are Freeport-centric, but his vision is to keep pouring into the Western communities. He says his plan is to intervene early before young people fall into the traps of gangs.
A lot of the young kids today, they are growing up on Facebook. They spend a lot of their times on Facebook. So, and in the early 80s, they used to go on the basketball court. You have different mentors used to be around for them. So that's why we decided to put a team together with Omar, Isaac, myself, Cecil Thompson. We partner along also with the police to let them know that their life is purpose. And we decided to start from the primary school area because what a lot of people does, they wait till they get in high school.
When our news comes back from the break, it's going to be a Gombay summer in Grand Bahama. The festival has returned. Catch a taste of flavor in our Generation Next segment coming up right after the break.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Shamik.
This is our news. Welcome back. An exciting cultural experience is set for Grand Bahama with the return of the Gombay Summer Festival in July. Organizers are looking to attract locals and visitors to Taino Beach for the best in Bahamian cuisine, arts, culture, and entertainment.
We like to say Gombay is back, Grand Bahama.
They want more authentic things to do in Grand Bahama. And while the festival times would not allow cruise ship passengers to experience, but for our stopover visitors in Grand Bahama, this is a good opportunity for them to experience culture, arts, crafts, and everything that we have to offer in Grand Bahama. So we're really excited to showcase that.
With more than 40 vendors signed on so far for the summer festival, Ministry of Tourism General Manager in Grand Bahama, Stephen Johnson, says it will be a boost for all involved, including Alive marketing representative Vincent Marshall.
As the only 100% Bahamian-owned telecommunications company, it is important for us to spotlight and support Bahamian culture and talent in creative, tangible ways.
We're looking at our flight again out of Milan, and so hopefully these persons coming in will be able to experience. They'll have more things. We want to get them out of the hotel and to see and experience more Bahamian culture, and so we think Gombay will do that for us.
We've all heard about Shark Week in the Bahamas, but what about Dive Week? It's making waves in the international dive community as Grand Bahama welcomes divers from all over for a second year in a row. Here's Christina Dragovich.
The Ministry of Tourism in Grand Bahama wrapping up Dive Week, showcasing marine life and white sand beaches in paradise. Bahamas Ministry of Tourism General Manager in Grand Bahama, Stephen Johnson, says while the turnout wasn't what the ministry anticipated, the benefits are still rolling in.
We didn't really get the numbers we wanted, but what we got was the quality divers coming in and ambassadors.
Grand Bahama Dive Week ran from May 22nd to the 28th, featuring underwater caves, wreck diving, and even a few glimpses of sharks.
Because what we'll do from here is make them ambassadors, and they will be able to spread the word throughout the diving community. And, Grand Bahama has some unique assets here. Two of them being Shark Junction, which is just outside here, one of the #1 dive spots down in the region, and also Tiger Beach, which is 25 minutes outside of West End. Some amazing experiences. And
Johnson explains the opportunities are almost as vast as Grand Bahama's underwater cave network.
To have Learjets flying in there, people coming in to dive, and to have people like William Shatner and Mike Tyson, all these people, Will Smith, coming here to dive for Discovery Week, it shows a lot about what we have to offer in Grand Bahama. So Grand Bahama is now on the international stage for diving, and we will continue to explore opportunities to open it up even wider.
Reporting for our news, I'm Christina Dragovich.
Well, summer is quickly approaching, and what's better to enjoy this time of year than ice cream? Owner of Taste the Flavor Bahamas, Brinique Popel, says she began her elite ice cream business back in 2020 with her grandmother.
Started as a local family tradition. My grandmother, who's presently alive today, we started off with 5 flavors and went to 14. So we always did it at the church fairs every summer. And when the pandemic hit and I lost my job due to being furloughed, I had to find ways to create income. So what I did was, I was like, Grammy, let's make this into a company. And here we are now. I'm grateful to still have her in my life. She plays a very influential part in the business and in my career.
And when it comes to flavors, they're traditional, uniquely Bahamian, and dairy-free options will make you melt.
Sauce and guava was one that I did with my grandmother. That's what I bring today. And then I brought on the Vitamalt, the Guinness, the butter pecan, then I launched into cookies and cream, red velvet, birthday cake, chocolate, vanilla, coffee, cherry, pineapple, banana. It's a lot. If you are a Vitamalt lover, let's say frozen Vitamalt, like when you put Vitamalt in the freezer, and it's perfecto, like chef's kiss. And the Guinness actually was inspired by, we have a Guyanese family friend, and she was like, you should try the Guinness. So I was like, Guinness? But I have friends who love Guinness, and they were my taste samplers, and they love it, so it's a hit.
Popel says the ice cream has been well received and often invokes feelings of nostalgia.
But a lot of persons found it interesting because salsa isn't something that you can easily find, and also it brings back a lot of memories, and it allows people to really see the authenticity of Bahamian culture. Growing up, you would go and climb the trees and pick fruits, go on the islands, you'd have your soursop, your mangoes in the summertime. So it brings back memories for a lot of families, and I'm grateful that I am able to contribute to that.
While the process often involves a bit of trial and error, she says it's been well worth it. For her, the highlight of entrepreneurship thus far is the growth.
When I first came out and when I made it in stores, the Centerville Food Store achievement and Susie Q's convenience store achievement was definitely big for me, and it was also big on social media. And honestly, it still amazes me how many persons were very happy to see such an elite homemade ice cream brand inside of a food store. And I'm looking forward to my first pop-up July 30th at Botanical Gardens. I'm aiming to make Taste the Flavor the elite local Bahamian homemade ice cream brand of the Bahamas. I've also successfully completed 2 entrepreneurship cohorts and workshops that allowed me to advance my skills as an entrepreneur. And I must say that the journey has been very rewarding. I've met amazing people, customers that even turned friends. They've given me loads of advice and words of wisdom and encouragement, and I'm thankful for each and every one of them.
The 22-year-old has this advice.
To my entrepreneurs out there, stay focused, keep God first, enjoy the journey. It is not easy, but it's definitely going to be worth it in the end.
Definitely 2 thumbs up. And when our News Weekend edition returns, let's take a look at the weather forecast for the days to come. And the National Youth Choir makes it to Carnegie Hall. That's coming up when our news returns.
Got size at 6'5". Hi, this is Shamika.
Welcome back to our news. Slightly overcast outside with a view of some showers. Here's your weather forecast. The Bahamas National Youth Choir takes it to the Big Apple. Members of the choir and several teachers took their talents to New York City's Carnegie Hall to perform classical and Baroque pieces. Our Jean Joseph catches up with the Senior Cultural Affairs Officer and Organizing Secretary of the E. Clement Bethel National Arts Festival, Zenobia Pierre, to find out more.
Our National Youth Choir members and a number of teachers recently joined other ensembles for a performance at New York City's Carnegie Hall. This, all a part of Mid-America Productions' 39th anniversary season. Zenobia Pierre, Senior Cultural Affairs Officer and Organizing Secretary of the E. Clement Bethel National Arts Festival, leads the team, the only international group at the event.
This is a collaboration between our ministry and the Bahamas National Youth Choir, and we've been invited here by Dr. Sinclair and Dr. John Rakes to do this collaboration here in New York City at Carnegie Hall, and it is going to be an awesome time.
Vanderbilt College of Music's Dr. Robert Sinclair, a chorale expert and educator, has led choirs in Australia, Canada, Japan, and the Bahamas, in addition to all-state choirs in Illinois and Wisconsin prior to this project. He shares his excitement to be able to continue working with Bahamian singers.
I am thrilled to have them here. Having Novi as a former student and Giovanni Clark as a former student, it's just a pleasure to get to work with the Bahamian group. We get to make some really great music with Mozart and with Haydn and Zelenka on a major stage, and I just can't wait to see and hear that happen.
The Bahamas National Youth Choir has been in existence since 1983, commissioned as part of the 10th anniversary Bahamian independence celebrations. Hundreds of young persons have passed through the choir's program since its inception, receiving opportunities for self-growth, development, and training that creates responsible and confident citizens. The choir has sung in 20 languages, produced 9 commercial recordings, traveled to 17 countries on 4 continents, and they have researched and documented much of the folk music of the Bahamas. While we can't show you Carnegie Hall, we'll leave you with one of their recent recordings, Market Song. And that's it for your entertainment report. I'm Jean Joseph reporting for our news.
Land plenty, but money scarce. People struggle to sell their wares. All day hard, all day on your feet.
Thank you so much for joining us for our News Weekend edition. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Megan Shepard. Continue to enjoy your weekend.